One day, after a really exhausting workday, you're stretched out on the couch and out of pure boredom you say to yourself, "Ugh, I'm so bored, I didn't even go out today, let me just do a little online shopping," and just like that, you order something you liked in that moment. That's it. You look around, nobody's clapping. Nothing in your life feels any different. You lie down, fall asleep, go back to work the next day. But right at that moment, the road splits in two, my friend. I can almost hear you saying, "What do you mean? Come on, let's talk about this together." I already grabbed myself a coffee. You go grab yourself a tea or coffee too, and then we'll talk. Now we're talking, my friend. Okay, so first things first, what I call the starting point. 2 people, 1 paycheck. Just picture it simply. 2 people, both 22 years old. Same city. Same kind of job. $1,881 after taxes. They're both drinking the same terrible office coffee every morning, working under the same kind of manager, having the same kind of dreams. Up to here, everything is exactly the same, right? Then one of them sends that $200. The other one doesn't. And 18 years pass after these 2 decisions. But neither of them knows on that day that it's going to create a gap of over $1 million. The first person, the builder. This guy, let's call it Path A, he chose this path. He sits down one Sunday evening and opens an investment account. Puts in $200. Then he does something, and this is where the real magic is, my friend, trust me on this one. He sets up an automatic transfer. On the day the paycheck comes in, before he even sees the money, $200 goes straight there. You know why this matters? Simple logic. Because if you see the money, you'll spend it. Everyone does. I'd spend it too, my friend. This isn't about willpower or anything like that. It's just how human psychology works. I'll get into that topic another time. Next time we have a coffee together, we can have a whole conversation about it. Anyway, let's get back to our main topic. If you never see that money from the very beginning, you just live as if it doesn't exist. And that's exactly why the system works. His life isn't some crazy glamorous thing either, by the way. He lives in a small apartment with 2 roommates, $740 rent. He eats at home 6 nights a week. You might think, wow, what a disciplined guy. But actually no. The math just says so. The numbers don't work any other way, so he eats at home. By the end of year 1, $2,400 is sitting in investments, $1,900 in an emergency fund. Big money? No. But it's definitely a sign that something has started. At 24, the market dips. His account goes from $9,800 down to $7,200. In 6 weeks. Most people at this point either panic or say, "Oh, forget it, this stuff never works," and give up. This guy buys more. Why do you think, my friend? No, my friend, not because he's fearless, but because he knows what he bought. Index fund. The entire market. The thinking goes, if the entire market is going to zero, we've got bigger problems anyway. The second person, the spender. Here comes our second friend. Same paycheck, same starting point, we said. But this friend's first big decision is buying a car. Woo, and on a 72-month loan too. Add insurance and suddenly $580 a month is just going to the car. Now I have to say this, does he need a car? Probably yes. But that trim level? No. But in that moment, a person doesn't think like that. It's just installments, it's a long term, I'll manage somehow, he says. He gets a 1-bedroom apartment, $980. He wants his own space. I think both of us get that, actually my friend. Honestly, I might be the one who gets it the most. I've had issues like that recently too, but anyway. What were we saying? The first person wants that space too. He just builds the system first, then moves into that space. He opens a savings account, puts in $100. 3 weeks later, he pulls out $80 for a concert ticket. By the end of the year, he saved $220, plus $1,340 in credit card debt on top of that. And this detail is really important. He pays the minimum, $38. Why? Because the budget is tight, because he's tired, because the balance has been sitting there so long that it doesn't feel like an emergency anymore. This isn't a lazy person. This is a person whose system was set up this way. Ages 25 to 27. The paths become clear. Time keeps moving, my friend. The builder gets a raise, and here's what he does. He upgrades his investment, not his lifestyle. Listen to that sentence one more time. What do we usually do when we get a raise? We move somewhere nicer, we get a better car, we live a little more comfortably. That's a very human thing. But this guy directs the raise toward investments first. At 27, just 5 years later, he buys a building in a small city. 2 units. Rent comes in from both sides. After expenses, taxes, and maintenance, $614 a month stays in his pocket net. There are phone calls, there are maintenance requests, yes. Passive income isn't truly passive. But the money is real. On the spender's side, though, when the raise comes, the apartment gets upgraded. When the promotion comes, there's a celebration, a new car gets leased. Turns out there was an early termination fee in the old car's contract, $2,800. He hadn't read that clause. This looks like a small detail, but it's actually part of a pattern. Not reading contracts, not doing the math, saying, I'll manage somehow. Ages 28 to 30. This is exactly where the gap blows open. Listen carefully now, my friend, because this part is, in my opinion, the most important. The builder at 28 has this picture. $69,600 in investment accounts, $1,481 a month in rental income. Net worth approximately $134,000. The spender at 28? $9,200 in credit card debt, savings near zero. Net worth around negative $14,000. But now let me tell you what happens to the spender at 29. Because this part is genuinely striking. A relationship ends. 9 months left on the apartment lease, he has to cover it alone. Rent is $1,580. Take-home pay is $3,780 a month. Even the math doesn't know what to do. It barely holds together. Credit card debt $9,200. No savings. And now look at that moment. 3 things break at the same time. Car, appliance, something else. Bang! $3,400 needed. Right now, immediately. What does he do? He goes into the 401k. He pulls money out of the investment account. Early withdrawal penalty is 10%, plus taxes on top of that. He takes out $4,000, ends up with $2,720 in hand. Not enough. Our friend here puts the rest on a card. Now stop for a second. Nothing catastrophic happened to this person. The relationship ended, okay. 3 things broke, it happens. These are normal life events. But these normal life events were enough to bring him to his knees, because there's no buffer. No emergency fund, no savings, everything is running on the absolute edge. And right here is where you understand, my friend. An emergency fund isn't something you build thinking, I wonder when I'll need it. It's something you build thinking, life is inevitably going to break something, and I want to be ready for that moment. What is the builder doing at that same age? At 29, he finds a new job. Salary goes up to $74,000. He raises his 401k contribution from 4% to 9%. His life doesn't change. Same apartment, same grocery routine. Just the numbers grow. At 30, he closes on a second property, a 3-unit building. Now there's $1,481 a month in rental income. Ages 35 to 40. The systems do the talking. By the time you get to this point, the gap between the two people isn't explained by behavior anymore. It's explained by the logic of the systems. The builder at 39 hires a financial advisor, pays $4,800 a year. This advisor finds something in the tax structure, a real estate depreciation schedule, that reduces taxable income by $31,000 a year. He pays $4,800, gains $8,600 in taxes. The contract gets renewed the day after he pays. At 40, we look at the picture. Investment accounts $837,000, real estate income $2,700 a month, net worth $1,068,000. And here's what he can do. His mother's care costs $3,200 a month. He covers it from cash flow. He doesn't tell anyone. It's just a line item. At 44, he models quitting his job. Investment income and rental income replace the salary entirely. He runs 3 different scenarios. The math holds in all 3. The spender at 40. Net worth $58,700. Most of it is the 401k, meaning touch it and there's a penalty. Monthly passive income, 0. Rent goes up every year and he can't buy a home because the down payment would require 2 years of aggressive saving, and that habit hasn't been built yet. The real point. Now I'm going to tell you something really important. The second person wasn't lazy, wasn't stupid. He went to work every day, paid his bills, went on vacation, spent time with friends, lived his life. Maybe he reminds you of someone you know. Maybe he reminds you a little bit of yourself. The difference is this. The system he built at 22 was a spending system. The first person built a building system. And systems compound. Both kinds compound. The spending system grows too. Debt grows, habits grow. The building system grows too. Investments grow, options grow. The difference is only in the direction. $187. Redirecting $187 a month differently. And not making 4 small decisions. Doing that upgrade later, not now. Buying that car 1 trim level down. Actually keeping that emergency fund as an emergency fund. Reading that contract. That Sunday evening always comes. It came at 22. It came at 25. It came at 30. It comes in a different form at every age, but it's always the same question. Now or later? It always comes. For both of them. My friend, I know you're going to ask where I'm going with this, but that's all from me for today. If you want more videos like this, write it in the comments and let me know. Tell me if I made any mistakes or got anything wrong. I trust you on that, my friend, because we're friends, you and I. If you want to give your friend here